Well, hello everyone and welcome to my third year of YouTube. Can you believe this? I've been doing this for 3 years. I actually can't believe it. Time has flown by and not much has changed, I guess. I don't know. I guess we'll go through these stats and see if anything has changed. So this is a video that I do every year basically, where I talk about the last year of YouTube, I guess 2024 for me. I talk about my stats. I guess I analyze my stats. I talk about my reflections on it. And then I talk about kind of my plans or like hopes and dreams and stuff for next year. Most likely you're looking at the runtime of this video. It's incredibly long. You should probably skip around. I don't think you're going to be interested in every single part of this. So I guess just watch the part you're interested in and let's watch this, I guess. And also I'm streaming right now, so I might read chat midway through. Anyway. So third year of YouTube. Number one, let's go over my goals. So at the end of last year, I did set some goals and let's just say that I didn't meet all the goals that I wanted to meet. Okay. So the first one, at least 10 scripted videos of at least 90 minutes in total. So for this one, I did not achieve. Okay. I think I guess we'll go over the stats and stuff, but I did not achieve 10 scripted videos and I did not achieve 90 minutes in total. A scripted Vinland Saga manga video. I absolutely did not do a scripted Vinland Saga manga video. I did, if you're a YouTube member, I guess, or if you were, I did technically say that I was working on one and I was like, oh, I'm getting so close, but it never came out. Okay. So who knows? Maybe one day it will, but it didn't this year. At least not yet. You know, there's still like 2 weeks left or whatever, but I doubt it. Number three, a scripted video about Studio Mapper. So this is something that I absolutely should have just done in January of this year. This is something I would still love to do, but like the amount of information and all, like so much is lost at this point because it's like random tweets and drama that happened on Twitter and Reddit posts that have been deleted. And I'm like, oh, I should have just done this earlier. So I don't know, this didn't happen either. So look at this, 3 failures this year. And these were the goals that were in my control. So now we have some goals that were out of my control that some of these were also failed. So number one, 3,500 elite Ari subs, which is I approximated would take around 250,000 views. Now, what I did achieve was 2,800 subscribers, and I did get at least 250,000 views, so we'll get to that later as well. But, you know, a bit short here, but I'm still happy with this, I guess. That's acceptable. The next was on Ordinary Ari. I was hoping for 400 subscribers, which would require at least 20,000 views, and I absolutely achieved both of these. I think I'm at like 485 or something now. I don't know. Basically, I'm past both of these, so well done. I achieved something that was out of my control. And the last one was 100 Twitter followers, and that did not happen. I think I have like 70 something. I don't know. 76. Yeah, there we go. Crazy. I don't remember what this is. Things I said I was going to do. I guess like my content consumption plans and stuff. Okay, so the monthly digest, that did happen. I have my list on Twitter. I've still got 3 to go for the end of this year. Okay, they're going to come out. I promise. They'll be up before the end of the year. But yeah, this is the thing I did. This will go again. I'll be continuing to do this next year as well. But we'll talk about that when we look forward, I guess. I did move streams to Elite Ari, believe it or not, this time last year. I think I actually swapped over on the 21st of December to this Elite Ari channel for streaming. And I did do that. So here we are. I've been streaming basically a year on this channel. Now, I did say that I was going to have an unlisted, I was going to basically stream and then list afterwards and have like a public playlist, but I did that initially, but I just decided it was kind of pointless. And one video every few days is not going to bother people. So I just left it up basically. I did do the edited clips and videos uploaded to Ordinary Ari. I got a bit slack with it toward the end, but I did do quite a bit of it. Some of my most successful videos on Ordinary Ari are just stream clips basically. Now, content wise, there was one, not real failure, I guess, but we're still going to do this hopefully. But JJK, I think we read maybe the first third of the story and we have paused on that for the moment. But the other 3 we did, okay? Mushoku Tensei Season 2, perhaps the second most successful series I've ever done behind Mushoku Tensei light novel read through, which is probably the most successful series I've ever had. But yeah, we did that with Kyle and Bacon. This was incredibly fun. I guess everything basically on Ordinary Ari is incredibly fun. And Chainsaw Man manga with Kyle Entertainment. In case you don't know, on Secondary NT, which is Kyle's second channel, I talk about Chainsaw Man basically every week or 2. So we did that. I don't think we might have missed like a chapter or something, but I think we did every single chapter. And Vinland Saga with Kyle, Bacon, and Mia as well, I guess. I guess last year I didn't have in my predictions that Mia would be joining us, but yep. Bunch of Vinland Saga reviews and just talks too, which, you know, I barely talk in them, but I count it as a hit here. But let's go, what else? I also, yeah, last year, believe it or not, I didn't have the website. Now the website has become some integral thing that I use every time I spin a wheel. So yeah, that started happening. And at that point, I had no idea how I was going to use it, but I think the way it's being used now is pretty good for now, at least. The other thing is that I started doing Patreon and YouTube members this year. We'll reflect on this, but I don't think this was much of a success. Out of the things that I was suggesting, you know, access to Discord text channels, you know, maybe reaction videos, maybe access to live discussions, none of this happened. You do technically, if you remember, have access to my polls, but I very rarely do them. So I would not sign up if you want to get access to polls that choose what I watch next. So yeah, that was last year. Okay. What I predicted to be 2024. Now, this year, I am going to go through some stats, I guess, for 2024. So looking back. Now, in terms of the videos that I made this year, there's a few different types, okay? So here's, oh my gosh, can you believe it? This is 2024 in a nutshell. So I made 7 Elite RE videos. A terrible performance, I have to say. And I think 2 or 3 of these toward the end, they were just monthly digest videos that were like 3 minutes long. So I barely produced anything. Pretty terrible showing, I have to say. What we did produce a lot of was 67 ordinary RE videos. So this is, I don't know, I don't really have much to say beyond it was almost 69, I guess. I don't know if I can get 2 more, but pretty crazy. A lot, pretty frequent as well. Then we have 87 live streams, my most common type of content these days, both in terms of the number of hours produced, I think, and just the number of streams that I did. So, yep. And then on top of that, I have 47 videos on secondary ENT across the year. So just taking a step back and just looking at this, I made a lot more videos than I was thinking. It looks impressive to me. When I look at this, I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like, you know, every few days I had something coming out. So I'm pretty happy with this basically, for a total of 208 videos in this year. So this I would consider a success. Even compared to last year, which was a step up on 2022, so we just keep stepping up. Last year I did 114 videos. This year, almost doubled it with 208. So yeah, pretty crazy, I have to say. So I guess some more statistics now. In terms of the total views, I don't know, they've gone up. I don't quite know what to say. For Elite RE, the most successful year was last year, definitely. This is when I think all my Mushoku Tensei videos blew up, basically. And I had like an Attack on Titan video that was successful. This year, despite, you know, not really publishing any new videos, you know, 7 minus like the 3 that were kind of nothing videos, I still got 250,000 views, which was, you know, kind of surprising, I guess, but also to be expected because it was Mushoku Tensei again blowing up because season 2 had its final kind of stretch of episodes. So I guess that makes sense. And then for Ordinary RE, this was the most successful year. Yeah, it just keeps growing. There's a lot of promise in Ordinary RE, I guess, looking forward, but yep. As you can see, you're between the subs and the views. They're pretty much like directly overlapped. Very high correlation. I got 491 subs this year for Elite RE, you know, a big step down from last year of 1,800. There was also a little dip here. Wait, can you actually even see that? I think you can. Because at this point here, I made all of my live streams public and my subscribers got mad at me and they started unsubscribing. I think I lost like 50 to 100 subscribers there. So pretty crazy. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, there's no way it's 50 to 100, right? Because this is 500. Maybe 50, maybe, honestly. But it felt like a lot at the time, basically. So, yeah. And then on Ordinary RE, I don't know, I just got a lot, okay? 234. I think this big growth is from when I put one scripted video on Ordinary RE, and that was the Greyrat episode review, basically. The best episode of Season 2 of Mushoku Tensei. And a lot of people subscribed for that, so, yeah, big bump. I did this last year, so I thought I'd show it again. Basically, this is just showing for each video what has been the trajectory for their views. And it's pretty much what you would expect. There's like a bunch of videos that have basically achieved nothing. I think this one down here, like the yellow one, is probably it's probably the Paul Greyrat video. But these are all basically Mushoku Tensei. You see, oh my gosh, so popular. And then, oh my god, season 2. Pretty crazy. Same with this one. Oh my gosh, season 2 part 1. Oh my gosh, season 2 part 2. So I guess Mushoku Tensei is just the way to go if you want to get views. But yep. Now, in terms of Ordinary RE, there's a few different types of content that I have on there. I also showed a graph like this last time. But I guess going from reverse order here, we have Arcane, which suddenly, you know, we had our last, I think we had 3 videos because there were 3 arcs in this recent season of Arcane. And the last one got like a few thousand views. And suddenly, oh my gosh, look at that. So many of my views on Ordinary RE came from Arcane this year. Next up, we have Chainsaw Man. I think this is purely just like it's like a mix of things, I guess. There's the discussions with Kyle. And then there's like a few stream clips I have where, for instance, I'm doing tier lists with like Chainsaw Man characters and volume covers and stuff. This is getting, I don't know, a few views every now and then. Then surprisingly, we still have Vinland Saga, which is going incredibly strong. I'm always surprised whenever I see this that for some reason people are still watching those old Vinland Saga discussions. But you know what? I guess it kind of makes sense. Like the series is still popular, the anime is still airing. People probably watch the anime and then they say, oh, look at this, a discussion series, let's watch it. But it has reached 10,000 views, which is pretty impressive, I guess, for a Vinland Saga watch through series with Bacon. Next up, we have stream clips. So last year when I did this review thing, I thought that by the end of 2024, stream clips would be the most popular thing on this channel. And you know what? They probably would have been if I didn't decide to stop doing them whenever this point was here. I don't know, they take a little bit of time to do, not really that much time. Now I've actually streamlined it a bit, so I'm actually recording and I don't have to download the VODs themselves, so it'll probably be easy to do this. And I'm definitely going to be more consistent next year, but yep, that was the second most viewed stuff on the channel this year. And then to no one's surprise, we have Mushoku Tensei, you know, being the most popular stuff on the channel. I had 2 very successful series by my standards where I'm getting like 1,000 views per video basically on Ordinary Ari. One of them was the Mushoku Tensei Season 2 discussions with Kyle and Bacon, which I think is probably this and this. And then I have the Mushoku Tensei light novel, Read Through with Bacon, which was also very successful and got a bunch of views, probably got even more comments than probably the entirety of Season 2. So it was pretty fantastic. I liked that a lot. And it was very fun. And, you know, I think we still have like 1 more video left of that eventually. But yeah. Now we have for Elite Ari, you know, as you would expect, 85% Mushoku Tensei, 12% Attack on Titan views, and then whatever's left of other, okay? Who knows, 1%, 5%, whatever, a tiny little slither from my other content. In terms of the hours of content, as I was kind of predicting last year, I don't know if anyone's like keeping track of like watching last year's and watching this one's and all. I think Kyle is, he said he was, but streams have overtaken everything. So streams are the majority of the content I make these days. 183 hours this year of streaming. Pretty crazy. 72 hours of content on Ordinary Ari, 66 hours on Secondary NT. So this would be like me split 50-50 with Kyle, probably a bit less, you know, Kyle probably speaks a bit more than me usually. And then 40 minutes. You can't even see the slither. That's how small it is on Elite Ari for a total of 322 hours, which is more than double last year. So pretty impressive, I guess. But honestly, in retrospect, I was expecting this to be a little larger because when I think of like how many hours of games I've played, for instance, like there's probably a game that I've played like, no, I think I probably played Terraria for like 300 hours just this year, you know? So who knows? YouTube, not that much. All right, now we have some like high level summary stuff. So I got 240,000 views for Elite Ari, almost 500 subs. I guess people could be interested in this, but I made from my 230,000 or 40,000 views, I made $660. I would assume this is Australian dollars, but maybe it is US dollars. I don't know. I got 8,000 likes, almost 200 dislikes, 344 comments, 96% male. Not that crazy, I guess. I was probably expecting this to be a bit higher, but look at that, 96, pretty crazy. And I currently have 4 YouTube members, so thank you. I assume most of them, if not all of them, are probably here right now, so pretty crazy. Ordinary Ari, this is kind of interesting, but I guess not. Some of it's not interesting, which is that, you know, 55k views, 234 subs, 1,800 likes, which is pretty crazy considering, I don't know why, it's just, that's a crazy number to me. I don't know why, because I feel like, I guess it makes sense if you've got like 50,000 views, right? But I feel like I don't get that many likes on this channel. But what's more impressive is I think that I got more dislikes on Ordinary Ari than I did on Elite Ari. That's really impressive. That definitely makes sense because the content that I make is much more controversial and I'm more free speaking and I'm not careful with my words and stuff. And of course I have Kyle in my discussion sometimes and, you know, people hate Kyle sometimes. So yeah, more dislikes on Ordinary Ari, even though it's a smaller channel. And also more comments on Ordinary Ari, which is fantastic. And this is probably one of the drivers for, I guess, changes that will be coming forward. Ordinary Ari is a thriving channel in terms of the engagement, at least. So yeah. And look at that, even less male dominated on Ordinary Ari, 94% male. So isn't that certainly something? The last one, we have streams. When I'm actually streaming, like right now, for instance, I think I have like 4 viewers or something. And the VODs usually get like 50 viewers to 100 viewers. Some get a bit more. So to me, the fact that I got 7.4 thousand views across like streams in 2024 is pretty crazy to me. I wouldn't expect it to be this high. Like I would have figured like, oh, maybe like 2,000 or something. So that's kind of cool. I like that, you know, 7,400 people watching me somehow doing nothing on stream. I made $23 from streams and not from ads because I don't turn on ads on these streams, even though maybe I should in the VODs or something. But these are from like gifting memberships, and I think 2 people gave super chats, so pretty crazy. $23, not bad. 300 likes, you know, 8 dislikes. Oh my gosh, who would dislike a stream? 36 comments, which is also pretty crazy to me, but I guess people just making meme comments every now and then. You know, Priam, I remember Priam left a comment at some point, and I don't have any stats for this stuff, live streams. But lastly, we have the breakdown of the devices that people are watching this content on. So I guess the takeaway is, you know, computers and phones, people love them. Tablets and TVs, people don't love them as much, but I am kind of surprised that anyone is watching me on a TV. So especially an Ordinary Ari video. Can you imagine putting a 3-hour discussion with me and Kyle about Arcane and then watching that on your TV? I can't imagine why you would do that, but I'm sure someone out there does. I guess the more interesting thing to me is that the longer form content, which is Ordinary Ari, has more share on computers. I guess that kind of makes sense. It's probably easier to like sit it down and like put it in like another window or something and then do other stuff on your computer than it is to like watch on your phone. But yeah, I don't know, kind of surprising. But then again, I guess it's also 1% higher on the phone as well. So I guess the tablets and the TVs are the ones making the sacrifice here for Ordinary Ari unscripted content. But yeah. Now I also analyzed the length of these videos. So on Elite Ari, as you would kind of expect, I have a 6-minute average video length, which is, you know, with standard deviation of 3 minutes. The shortest video I made this year was 3 minutes and the longest was 10 minutes. So Wow. Then we have Ordinary Ari, average length of an hour, basically, plus or minus 54 minutes. This is kind of crazy to me. I guess, actually, I always think that it's crazy, but then I realize that it's not crazy at all because I have on Ordinary Ari a bunch of like stream clips, which are like really short as well. But yeah, so an hour plus or minus 54 minutes. The shortest was 3 minutes. I assume some random clip I made or some review of some show. And the longest was 3 hours and 33 minutes. I don't remember what this is at all, so I have no idea. It could be a Mushoku Tensei thing. It could be an Arcane thing. It could be, who knows what it could be. It could literally be anything, but yeah. The live streams, this I was kind of more interested in because to me, I feel like I stream like an hour and a half on average, but no, apparently I stream 2 hours and 5 minutes on average with a plus and minus of 36 minutes. But yeah, pretty crazy. My shortest stream was 36 minutes and my longest one, which is again surprising to me because I don't remember ever streaming this long, but 3 hours and 35 minutes. So I think that's like a pretty early stream in my streaming career, but yep. And then we have secondary NT videos that I was in. So this is kind of funny to me because the average length is an hour and 18 minutes, which is roughly, I guess, how long Kyle's battery lasts for. So that's kind of funny. Plus or minus 51 minutes. The shortest video was 12 minutes, which I assume is our most recent like Chainsaw Man discussion, or our like second most recent one, where Kyle's battery ran out. And then we have the longest one, which I think was a Black Lagoon discussion of 4 hours and 34 minutes. So that was pretty crazy. Oh yeah, also, I did a monthly media digest. I don't have many stats for this. I just have the list of winners. So in case you don't know, every month I used to spin a wheel and then whatever got selected on the wheel, I would like have to watch that month. These days, basically what I do is that I spin the wheel and then something gets chosen. And then whenever I finish consuming that thing, I spin the wheel again. So 13 things were chosen this year, you know, more than one a month, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know, look at this. If any of these are like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad Ari watched this, then know that it was suggested by someone, because these are all things that I would not have watched otherwise. So we love when things are suggested. So now that's the stats and stuff. So now we have some reflections. I could probably read chat right now, but I guess I'll save it to the end. But reflections on this year. So there were a few things that worked well and a few things that didn't work well. So the first thing that I think worked well were live streams. I enjoy them. Clearly, they're the most content that I produce. I find them fun. You know, one day I'm sure there will be some live stream when no one shows up for the whole thing and I'll be incredibly bored and I'll probably give up live streaming forever. But for now, they've been fun. The website I also think has been very good. The suggestions, even just like on a personal note, it's just very easy for me to keep track of things that I want to watch because I can, whenever I think of like, oh, I need to put this on my list, instead of like opening up my phone and having some random long list or something, I can just go to the website, type it in whatever I want. It comes up with a nice picture and everything and I can have it on my own personal radar. Like that's very useful. But I think it's also been great for like keeping track of like all my friends' suggestions and all my viewers' suggestions. Like I think it's been really good. This was one of the best ideas I've ever had, I think, was this website thing. And I kind of want to expand it too. I don't have concrete ideas for that though, but I think it's a good thing to work on. The discussions of relevant shows, basically. So things like Mushoku Tensei, Arcane, X-Men, these are all things that got a bunch of views. And I think they only really got a bunch of views because they are very, well, I guess most of these, Mushoku Tensei, I guess the light novel is not really that contemporary, but the anime was very contemporary. Same with Arcane, and then X-Men came around when Deadpool was coming out. I think basically doing shows that are live airing or are very recently aired and are basically people are talking about, I think is very important. And I think it was very successful this year, basically. Buying a camera was also really good. I'm using it right now. Oh my God, my nose is so itchy, by the way. But I think it's great in multiple regards. Number one, it's just always there. I don't have to set it up. It's so much easier if I ever want to record something. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to like put my phone on a tripod and like point it at me or anything. I don't have to like move my webcam around. It's great. Secondly, I think it looks better generally. And I think looking better is a pretty important thing when it comes to videos. So buying a camera, great. I'm glad I did it. Now, there are a few things that didn't work well this year. Number one, channel memberships. This, you know, the best thing about channel memberships is the fact that people get badges in chat. I like that. It's always fun to see like people with badges, you know, and the badges like upgrade and stuff. I like that system. It's fun. In every other regard, I think they were kind of pointless. Not for me, I guess for like the people who are becoming members. Like I said I would do polls, but I didn't really have a place for the polls. Like I'd rather have people suggest stuff on the website and then have the wheel spinning than it would be for me to like kind of get the members to do it, because there's only like four members at the moment. Like I don't want to get them to like make all the decisions, you know? So I didn't really do polls. The weekly updates were like good initially, but like eventually as I started doing less and less Elite Ari, like scripted content, I was kind of like, why am I doing this? You know, like I don't have any update, but I committed to doing one update a week. So my update, like I think my most recent update was like, but the update is that there's no update at the moment, you know? So yeah, that's almost certainly not going to be a thing next year, is channel updates. But yeah, basically, yeah, I don't think the memberships worked at all, but I'll try and rework it basically. Number two, changing digest to a scripted format. So I had a big change in philosophy midway through the year where I was like, you know what? There's multiple issues with having this digest stuff on Ordinary Ari. You know, I miss out on views. You know, it's a bit of a hassle to organize. I feel like I could split it both ways and have scripted stuff in Elite Ari and then have like the the individual reviews on ordinary RE, but basically this was a whole mess. When I moved it to Elite RE, it just, firstly, it probably took around a similar amount of time to produce. Like it would take like a whole day or two to kind of like script it and edit it and all that and upload it. It didn't get as many views as I would have hoped at all in any way. I guess I wasn't really expecting that many views, but yeah, basically there basically wasn't a benefit to this at all. This was not a good thing I did. And also, I guess moving the streams to Elite RE, there was basically no real benefit. I guess anyone here, you can tell me if you somehow only watch this stream because it was on this channel. I feel like most people who are here, I've either seen comment on ordinary RE videos or directly were already viewers of mine when I was streaming on ordinary RE. So I basically feel like I don't get many more views on this than I did when I was on ordinary RE. If anything, all it does is kind of like mildly annoy people whenever they see this and they're like, oh, why is this in my like homepage or whatever? So this was not a good idea, but it was worth trying, I guess. I tried for a whole year. So there was, no real benefit to it. Now I just wanted to bring this up. There is a problem with discussion videos. So when it comes to scripted videos, I know what success looks like. There's a lot of successful scripted videos out there in the world. I watch a lot of them, for instance, on these streams and stuff. And personally, I've had success in scripted videos. I have a video with like 320,000 views or whatever. Like I have a few successes out. I know what it looks like. When it comes to like my solo video reviews, like when you're reviewing something, like, I don't know, some anime or something, I also know what success for this looks like, okay? There's like a lot of review channels out there of varying types and forms, and they get hundreds of thousands to millions of views. I know what that looks like. I've personally never been successful at this, but I at least have something to strive for. And I know that if I wanted to, and I made it better and I tried to improve it, I think I could be successful in something like this. Now, when it comes to discussion videos, I don't know what success looks like. Sorry. I don't know. I don't think I've ever, nothing at least comes to mind where I'm like, man, that was I can't think of any successful series out there of like discussion videos. The closest things I can think of, there's a few things. There's like reaction videos, which have discussions attached to them. Those are wildly successful sometimes. You have live streamers who like will kind of review things as they're like doing other things, like, the discussion or discussing things as they're doing other things. That can kind of be successful. And I guess there's also audio-based podcasts, which are like kind of discussing like kind of either topics or like some TV shows or movies that they've seen recently. So I don't know what a successful kind of discussion series like what I do, which is like very long, in-depth discussions, multiple hours with people over Discord. Like I've never seen that succeed and get like hundreds of thousands or millions of views. So yeah, I want to, because this is probably the most fun I have making content is discussion videos, but I struggle to think of this ever being too successful, like grander scale, I guess. Not that it really matters that much, but it's just something that I was thinking about when I was making this. So yeah, there's a few other miscellaneous reflections, I guess. Number one, I finished my PhD in February, so, and I got a job in August, so there was a long period of time where I had nothing besides just applying for jobs, and I don't think I utilized that very fully. But now that I have had a job, basically, there was a period of like a month or two where it was quite a big shift, a lot less time, a lot like kind of stressing about how to, organize my new life here and everything. But things right now, I guess, are much more stabilized. Tomorrow is my last day technically, I guess, before I get like 2 weeks off for the Christmas break. Things are much more stabilized now. So that's like one thing to keep in mind. Secondly, I'm in my own apartment now, as you probably know if you're a longtime fan of mine. But this has made things so much better. Like I can record it any time of the day. I don't have to worry about yelling or like being too loud or anything like that. It has been fantastic. Yeah, it's great. And I can set up like whatever I want, wherever I want. There's no like, oh, this is like this is all my own space. I don't have to worry about anything. So I think it's really great, basically. Obviously, another miscellaneous thing here is that I need to make more scripted videos. I only made 7 this year. I think that's what it was. And there's no reason it was that little. I have plenty of ideas. I have plenty of half-baked like scripts. It's just like, it's not even philosophical. It's like I don't even know how to say it, but it's like a motivation thing, kind of, where it's like I have so much more fun making things that aren't scripted videos. I think the fun of a scripted video is like the end point, like when you've produced one. The fact that you're making it, or the process of making it, isn't that fun. Whereas for an unscripted video, the end point is kind of like mid. It's the process that's really fun. And that leads to a bunch of unscripted videos being made because it's fun to make them, even if their like reward isn't that great at the end. Whereas for scripted videos, it's like the reward is so great, but the process is so painful. And it's like that kind of is what leads to, fewer scripted videos being made. But I want to make more of them, basically. Oh yeah, and also I made a bunch of thumbnails this year. So how many videos did I have? Like 208 or something. So that's like at least 208 thumbnails. I made a few of Kyle's as well, I think. Did I make Bacon one? Or was that last year? I don't know. Or did Bacon make one in mine? I don't remember. Anyway, a lot of thumbnails, very fun. I will probably do a thumbnail tier list, probably not today, maybe another day when I stream. Or maybe you're actually looking at the timestamps right now and you're seeing it. Or maybe it's another upload on this channel, who knows. But yeah, bunch of thumbnails, a lot of fun. I think I've gotten a lot better at making thumbnails as well. Oh yeah, I already said this as well. Very worthwhile, targeting currently airing media. And that's that, I guess, looking back. So next up, short section on looking to the next year. So there's a few things that I plan to consume. And two of these, I guess if you are a fan of mine, you know, watching these streams, you probably know this. But the first one is the Jujutsu Kaisen manga. I am definitely reading this year. Hopefully Bacon is still interested in reading this. If he is, then I will absolutely be doing it with him. But if he doesn't want to, then I definitely will be doing this myself. I need to finish this manga this year. Secondly, One Piece. I am watching One Piece in 2025. Now, the amount that I watch of it is kind of, I don't know. It's going to depend on how much I like it. Maybe I won't like it and I'll just drop it. But I am thinking maybe I could watch like 100 to 150 episodes or something, but I guess we'll see how that goes. Now, the motivation for me watching One Piece, in case you're not aware, you're not watching every one of these streams, is that there was a One Piece fan letter that came out, which is like I think it's like it's basically like an OVA or something. It's like some episode of the One Piece anime that came out. I watched like the first minute of it and it looked really good. And it looked like if I had known the context for like what is going on in One Piece and I watched this episode, it feels like it's going to be the greatest episode of anything I've ever seen in my whole life. So I decided that I kind of have to watch the One Piece anime just so I can watch this fan letter. So I don't know, hopefully by next year I'll have watched it, but I guess we'll see. I think it's like you have to watch like 500 episodes of One Piece to get to the fan letter, but you know, I guess we'll see. Maybe I will watch 500 next year, but I somehow doubt that. Now there's two other things I will be continuing, which is, you know, Vinland Saga. We'll be probably doing those chapter reviews, and they're almost certainly, I feel like almost certainly it's going to be ending this year, which is kind of, next year, which is kind of crazy. Unless I guess he takes a few more months off, who knows. And Chainsaw Man Part 2 will of course be continuing, which also might be ending next year. I guess we'll see how many breaks he takes and how long Part 2 will be. Now there's going to be a few other things that will pop up, like there's a Chainsaw Man movie that's coming out. I'm sure there'll be like some other big profile like anime things, maybe JJK season 3 or something. Like all of that will be continuing as it comes out. I don't predict there'll be anything Mushoku Tensei next year. That's a bit too soon, but yeah, we'll see, I guess. Bunch of stuff. Now there's going to be some bigger changes, and if you've watched these streams, you're probably aware of this, but I basically want to focus a bit more on Ordinary Ari. I think it has a lot of promise, and I have the most fun on that channel, and I also get a lot of engagement on that channel, so I do enjoy it a lot. Now, what this means is that when Ordinary Ari gets to 500 subs, which is like the threshold, the minimum threshold for like some level of monetization, not ads, but like other things you kind of get access to, I'm going to move the live streams back to Ordinary Ari. I'll make an announcement, like I'll probably have a stream on this channel, which will be like, this is the last stream, go to Ordinary Ari for the streams. And also the memberships will be moving to Ordinary Ari. Now, this is just purely because I feel like I don't make enough content on this channel at the moment, at least. And I feel like it's better to kind of have the memberships be on the channel that is going to have more consistent active content where people can actually get rewards, I guess. Now, in terms of the memberships, there's going to be a few minor changes, I think. One, this is going to change it all. For $1 US, you get badges and emotes. And then for $3 US, you get monthly channel updates. So instead of weekly, we're moving to monthly, okay? Hopefully more will happen in a month. So there's that. I'm also going to open text channels in my Discord server. So if you're interested, check the link in the description. There's a link to my Discord, which is right now, if you're not a member to my YouTube members, I guess, what you currently get access to is a YouTube links channel where you can send YouTube links for me to watch on stream. And you can technically see the waiting room for voice channels. If you ever wanted to kind of talk to me or like debate me or discuss something with me, then you can see that. This is all without a YouTube membership. What I'm going to be doing is having a bunch of text channels that are only for the members, or it's just going to be, I don't know, I'll probably have spoiler channels for all the major series that I cover, Mushoku Tensei, like Chainsaw Man, whatever, and maybe just the general channel or something like that. I haven't fleshed this out yet, but that's basically what it's going to be. And the reason I'm tying it to, like, I'd be happy to do it without any, like, membership or anything, but I kind of want a self-moderating force, which is, like, if people are paying to kind of be in there, then it would kind of moderate them themselves, because they don't want to get kicked out if they're paying, you know. But also, most likely, no one will use it anyway, so, you know, I'm not that worried. I assume we'll have, like, maybe 2 people, and they probably won't say much, so yeah, but this is happening. Member-only polls will happen, but hopefully they'll be more meaningful on the Ordinary Ari channel because the audience overlap with my content that is about like consuming media is much larger on that channel. So hopefully, you know, some people will actually subscribe to polls, especially if I shout it out in like my digests or like my discussion series and stuff. Maybe people will be interested to become members on that channel more so than the Elite Ari channel. And also I'm thinking of doing shout outs at the end of discussion videos. Now, I don't value this at all, and I don't understand why people value this, but I know people do value it. So yeah, I guess I'll also put you at the end of a discussion video. Maybe I'll put it in text. Maybe I'll actually shout you out verbally. I don't know. I guess we'll see how that goes. But memberships are changing. Now, when it comes to discussion videos, these are also going to change a little bit. So there's one thing that I'm guaranteed to try this year, which is live streaming discussions. Now, I can't commit to this because I don't know if it'll be a hassle, because sometimes I do have to edit stuff out. Like there's going to be breaks and stuff. And I guess we don't usually cut out any actual content unless it's like Kyle has shared a few like work stories that he doesn't want in there sometimes. And like have I ever cut anything from my stuff? I'm sure I've cut out stuff that I've said. I don't know, whatever. Occasionally I have to cut stuff out, but I think live streams will be okay. But I'm going to try it out. We'll see. So what this means is basically whenever, for instance, me and Kyle are doing Chainsaw Man, I could be streaming it on my channel, and then maybe he'll like take the actual VOD and put it on his channel or something like that. Or for instance, if we were doing Arcane, which we did the 3 arcs, instead of just having them as videos on Ordinary Ari, I would literally stream them as we're doing the discussion. I feel like this is, if it is for a currently airing series, like something like Mushoku Tensei Season 2 or Arcane, I feel like there's a good potential that there could be quite a lot of viewers in the live stream at that point. Like maybe like 10 viewers or something, honestly, is what I'm thinking. And there will be a lot of engagement too. Like I feel like if we do live stream these discussions, there's a lot of chance for people to actually, you know, ask things and like say things in the chat. Like I think it is worthwhile. Like I do think like discussions are naturally fit for like a live stream format like this. So I want to try it out at least a few times, I guess, or at least once is what I put here. So yeah, now there's 2 things that I will probably also try. One is I basically to increase the engagement, or like who is actually caring about these videos. We could do something that me and Bacon did I guess Bacon more so, but me and Bacon in the Mushoku Tensei read through, which is like having a dedicated section, maybe toward the end of the video, to actually reading out like comments from people. Like right now, I do it every now and then, and I like to briefly like mention, you know, this person said this, and you know, we love that. But I think it would be kind of cool to have like an actual dedicated section or something like this, because like people would like it, like the people watching. I would think it's like kind of fun because it's like we're talking to people, you know, out there who have opinions on my content like that. I think this would be fun. So it'd be good to have an actual section for this at the end of videos. And then secondly, is a minor thing, but like kind of calls to actions to like become a member or to like subscribe. I think these things are like important, and I just don't do it. Like I don't think I ever do it. I do it jokingly sometimes at the end of videos, especially the Chainsaw Man videos, where we're like, guys, don't forget to comment or something. But I think I should do this a bit more frequently, basically. Now, finally, there's a few things that I am considering, but I'm not sure if I actually will do it. One of them, which I think is important, is having at least my camera on when it comes to discussion videos. Now, obviously, I can't like force the other person to do it, especially Kyle, who doesn't like do his face stuff or anything. And it would be a bit of a hassle to kind of have someone like it's so easy now to record discussions. You don't need to get dressed. You don't need to like be presentable. You don't need to have your camera on or anything. It's nice and easy to do it. So I wouldn't want to like pressure people to do it or anything, but I think it's important that I at least have my camera on. So there's like at least one person that you're looking at, and you can like kind of be engaged in the content a bit more. Like when I watch stuff personally, like not discussions, but I guess just like content in general, if I click a video and I see a face, I'm much more likely to stick on it than if I see like 2 Discord profiles. So I think even just having my face in like an approachable kind of format like this, where it's like, you can tell that there's like me because I'm speaking and I'm in the little bubble, but you can also tell, and it's not confusing, that there is another person here because they're in the same bubble. They don't have a picture because, you know, they're talking with their Discord profile thing, but it kind of conveys a bit more what's going on more easily. So I do want to try this, but we'll see. I don't know. And secondly, I think it is also maybe worthwhile to package the audio for these like kind of discussions and Ordinary Ari videos more generally into like actual podcasting apps, like things that are just audio only. Now, the only issue with this is that I don't know quite not how to do this technically, but like how would I like functionally do this? Because almost every podcast is like themed around something. And in my case, for instance, say I wanted to put the Arcane discussions, the 3 latest videos, if I wanted to put them on a podcast app, would I like create a new podcast like just for Arcane? Would I have like a podcast called like Ordinary Ari or something and just have like all our discussions? But then what would be the point of that? Like, yeah, I don't know, basically. The reason it's not in the like things I'm going to do is that I just need to think about like how I would do something like this, basically. But could be good. You know, there's a large audience out there. I used to be one of the people who would only ever listen to podcasts like through podcast apps. So I know there's like a large audience out there. Could be worth considering. Excuse me. So there's a few other miscellaneous plans. So Digest, like I said, is going to continue. It's going to go back to ordinary RE and it's going to be unscripted. The website's going to continue to expand. I don't know exactly how I'm going to expand it, but it will expand. The wheel spin is going to continue. Every time I finish something that was suggested by the people, I'm going to spin the wheel again and get something else suggested by the people. I am going to try out at least once streaming on some short form content medium. Now, whether that's TikTok or YouTube Shorts, I guess we'll see. I don't know how hard it is to do it on both of these, but there is a large audience on this. Yeah, it's not surprising to see very small creators get thousands of views, like just through streams on these like kind of short form content sites. So I am going to definitely try one of those at least this year once. I am going to get more consistent again with the content and stream clips on ordinary RE. It's been a while, you know, I've been a bit slacking, but I have an excuse. Okay, I've been working, you know, I've got a new job and everything, but I'm going to get more on top of that again. I do also want to try and break out of my little bubble here. You know, I have like a group of say like 4 to 5 people who are like the people that I make content with. And I would definitely like to extend out of that a little bit. Now, whether that be like me talking to someone on stream who could be, you know, interested in talking to me or something, whether that's like actually making a discussion series with like someone new, someone that is maybe tangentially related to me. I don't know. Whatever it is, I want to make a conscious effort to kind of actually do this year, because firstly, it would be fun. And secondly, it could be beneficial as well. So I'm very interested in this. I think this is the last one here for my other miscellaneous plans, but maybe reaction videos. There's like multiple issues with this. The first one's the copyright, obviously. I'm a bit scared of that. Secondly, I did try and record a reaction video to the Arcane episode like 1 or 2 or something. I just wasn't very good at it. But I feel like maybe if I just recorded like an hour of an episode, like a really long episode, and then cut it down to like 2 minutes, maybe I could get like an interesting 2-minute reaction or something. I don't know. Basically, I'm considering it. Now, maybe the reaction videos could be used as like precursors to discussions or something. Like maybe I could have the reaction be the first minute, and then like our discussion be like the rest of it, and that could like hook people in or something. I don't know. It's something I'm considering at this point, I guess. But I guess that's really the end of this. So the predictions for next year, the number of subs, I guess. Elite RE, I'm predicting that I'll have 3,500. Not that crazy, you know. If I get a similar number of subs as I did this year, then I'll probably hit that milestone, I guess. Ordinary RE is 700 subs. I'm fairly sure I will get that unless something terribly goes wrong. I'm sure I'll get that. And on Twitter, 100 followers, you know. I think we're at 70 something right now. I think we can achieve 100. But that's it. All right, we made it. And then I have another one. Any questions? I don't know if anyone's actually here right now, but that's the end of this. So thank you. All right, and now we're back with part 2 of this video, where I'm going to be basically doing a tier list of all the scripted videos that I made in 2024. So all the Elite RE scripted videos, basically. So we're going to watch them. You can skip around if you have a particular video you're interested in. I feel like this is probably going to be pretty short, because I didn't make many videos at all this year. But yeah, let's just watch it. In total, look at this. We have a 2-minute video, a 3-minute video, a 4-minute video, and then we'll watch, I guess, one of these digest maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's get started. So first up, we have why was Powder's falling scene so blissful? So this was inspired by... This actually initially, I guess this can also serve as a bit of a behind the scenes video, but initially this video was not designed to be this video at all. Initially I was going to make a video about the scene where Powder is freaking out in episode 3 of Arcane, where she's like screaming and like throwing her hands around and like throwing her toys everywhere. Like that was the scene that I was interested in making a video about, because I think that's like one of my favorite scenes of Powder. For a variety of reasons that I just decided to never make a video on. But when I wanted to get context for that scene, I decided that I wanted to rewatch Arcane, and for that I got Kyle and we did a whole discussion series, and then it turns out that I found this parallel between Powder and Silco to be more interesting than, I guess, the scene that I initially wanted to make a video on, which resulted in this. So let's watch this and see what I think about it, like a year later. In an effort to save Vander, Vi falls right into Silco's trap, and with Vander restrained, she's forced to run from the Shimmer-induced monster. Clagger is smashing the wall, Milo speaking the restraints, and Vi is holding the door that stands between them and the monster. Then a click, and Vander's restraints come undone. A crack, and the wall comes crumbling down. And a bang, and Powder's monkey takes care of the monster. Things are looking upward. The bad... I think this is like also just sound-wise. I don't know if it's like too much bass or like too like what... I just don't like the way this sounds, I think. I also don't know. Maybe this is exactly how I sound right now when I'm talking as well. I'm not sure. I think I probably would have recorded this in OBS the same way, but I think this is too much, whatever I did here. Guys are dying. The Shimmer is destroyed. But above all this, Powder feels a great sense of relief. She's finally been able to help for the first time in her life. She's not incompetent, she's not useless, and she's certainly no jinx. It's a blissful feeling, until everyone starts dying. But as we see the death and destruction, the blissful music keeps going. Why? Now you may be thinking it's a simple juxtaposition. Pair blissful music with tragic visuals to create an eerie tone, and perhaps hint that all is not right in Powder's psyche. The music choice is saying something about Powder, that she finds comfort in the destruction, that she doesn't even care that she might be falling to her death, because the high of proving her worth is keeping her afloat. But there is a grander purpose which this blissful tone serves, a parallel it draws between Powder and Silco.
Ever wonder what it's like to drown?
At the beginning of episode 3, Silco tells us what it's like to drown. A story of opposites, of conflicting feelings, a relieving resignation that it's all finally over, and a raging desperation to survive. It's the story of Silco's rebirth. When he was drowning, he had the choice to give up his fight against Piltover and resign in peace with his brother, or to fight his brother, fight his oppressors, and rage at the world for the rest of his life. He made the choice to fight, the visual of him sinking into the Blue River becoming a symbol of his rebirth, a symbol of the day that Silco rejected the world, rejected his brother, and became the hateful, Machiavellian, Undercity crime boss, the only version of Silco that we've ever known. And once more, we see the same symbol with Powder, falling into a speckled blue mist right before she is reborn as Jinx. The blissful tone of her falling scene is the calm before the storm, drowning's peace before its rage. Those last dying moments where Jinx was still Powder, just like those dying moments where Silco was still Vander's brother. It's visual storytelling at the meta level. It's not telling us anything about the character of Powder as she currently stands. It's telling us about the arc her story is going to follow. Rejecting her sister, rejecting the world, siding with rage and hate over peace and resignation. I had basically nothing to say for that. But you know, it's nice and short and stuff. I think I really like this video because it's a very simple concept, and I think if you know anything about me, whenever I talk about what types of videos I like videos with like very clear, simple theses that are like explained well, and I think I'd like do that decently well here, showing the parallel between these two that Arcane sets up. Yeah, I guess I don't have much to say. I guess like production-wise, I think I did a good job with the editing and stuff. I included sound effects. I think the sound effects still, they don't sound cringe or anything. They sound pretty good to me. The music lines up well. I think all around, this is like a nice, solid, like A-tier video, I think. That's what I would give this. But maybe we have a bunch of comments as well. Oh, I remember this one from Bacon. He said that he liked this bit, basically. It's going. Why? Oh my gosh, so much editing and blurring and stuff. He called it a leaf motif or something. Never heard of it, but pretty cool. Anyway, so that was that. We're almost done, guys. Only a few more videos left. Next up, we have RWBY'S subtle wink at the fourth wall. So this is a video that I'm very proud of, not because of like, oh wow, what a great idea or anything, even though I do think the idea is actually kind of cool. I'm just glad that I made a RWBY video because I love RWBY. I initially, I'm sure I say this probably every year when I talk about my channel, but a long time ago, many years ago, when I was like still in early university or whatever, I had an idea to make a scripted video. I guess I can precisely figure out when it was, because it was when Volume 4 of RWBY was coming out. I wanted to make a review of like Volume 4 basically and talk about how good it is and how much visually better it is and how it's an upgrade in every way from Volume 3. And that was like the first script I ever wrote. So I'm glad that I finally made a RWBY video this year basically, because you know, I've always wanted to. I love the series so much. But let's watch this. A nice 3-minute video. Oh boy. The 9th volume of RWBY takes place in the Ever After, a realm disconnected from the main universe of RWBY. Again, the audio is like, I think it sounds a bit better in this, but is this really how I sound? Like, do I sound like the exact same way here when I'm like talking there? Wait, let me listen to this. Ready, wait. The 9th volume of RWBY. The 9th volume of RWBY. The 9th volume of RWBY. Do I sound the same, or I don't know? Takes place in the Ever After, a realm disconnected from the main universe of RWBY. It's a strange world. The land is split into homogeneous biomes, the flow of time is dynamic, and concepts like names and identities are not universally understood. Throughout the volume, our characters traverse this Ever After. Also, it sounds like I'm like slightly whispering or something. Like maybe I recorded this late at night. I don't know. It bothers me. I have a few videos like that which sound like this because I was like trying to be a little bit quiet, but as they reflect on their shortcomings and reorient for the future. Of all the characters, the struggles of 2 are elevated above the rest. Jean, the man who keeps failing to protect those close to him, having failed Pyrrha and Penny and Weiss and Alex. And RWBY, the girl whom the world expects to be strong and lead the heroic fight for the sake of everyone, despite having failed Pyrrha and Penny and the entirety of Atlas. By the end of the volume, both Jean and RWBY, through introspection and guidance, come to terms with their shortcomings and are ready to take the next steps forward. This is all standard storytelling stuff, a volume of reflection after failing a climactic battle. But then the show does something interesting. In the final scene of the volume, we unravel the mystery of the Ever After, learning the history of the tree, the prime mover from which all of creation stemmed. This tree created an imbalanced world, and to balance it out, it created 2 brothers. The 2 brothers. Light and darkness, creation and destruction. We learn of the early days in the lives of these brothers, from birth to adolescence, and ending with the tale of their adulthood, where we see them take their first steps beyond their home to pursue their grander dreams. As we see the brothers give each other one final look as they step through the door to the next chapter of their lives, we hear a sentimental remix of This Will Be the Day, the track used as the opening for the first volume of RWBY. The music drags us into the meta-narrative of the story. It invokes a feeling of nostalgia for those early days, reminding the audience of how far the show has come and how far we have come along with it. The brothers are at the beginning of their own journey, with its own ups and downs, a big, wide, new world. I think this is one of my better points I think I've made across like any of my videos, because I think this truly is like a, when I was watching it, this was the feeling I was having, and I think it is an interesting feeling. Like, I think for instance, if I'm ranking like my ideas in videos, my Aaron's Precious Memory one, that is a truly novel idea that I don't think anyone else has ever had before. So I'm very proud of that one. What else is like a novel idea? I guess the anticlimactic one is like, I mean, it's not that novel, but it's like kind of cool. Do I have any other like actual things where I'm like, that's like a cool novel idea I came up with? Not really, I suppose. This really is like, ever since there is the Aaron one, which is about like, oh, Aaron looked up, and it's like a parallel to, I don't remember, it's been a while, but the looking up is important basically, and it's like shows his regression, even it's like meant to be the height of his like actual character progression. And then now we have this one, which is talking about how like the story is using the meta of the music in this scene where you've got the meta characters that created the world of the actual characters, to kind of place us in the position of, to place us in like or to remind us of where the show started and how far it's come and everything. Like, I think it's a really cool thing the show does. I think it's a cool video idea, but anyway, let's keep going.
Their own journey, with its own ups and downs, a big, wide, new world for them to explore, just as their creation, the world of Remnant, has provided for Team RWBY, as well as for us, their audience. Volume 9 was a volume focused on slowing down, reflecting on the past, and recalibrating for the future. And hence, this final scene is a fantastic wrap-up, incorporating the audience into the themes of the story. And with the production of RWBY as we know it potentially coming to a close, this may be the final impression the show imparts on us. And now we have to choose where the next chapter of our journey will take us.
Love that, the footage. Oh my goodness. And this was so fun to make. Oh my goodness. And it's like short and stuff, but it's fun. Like, making this like compilation was like, you know, some of the most fun I've ever had making a video. I don't know. It's like so short and everything, but even like, I love this scene of Penny coming in and flying around.
And now we have to choose
look how cool
where
it
the
is.
next chapter of our journey will take us.
My goodness, look how far RWBY has come. Like, creating a scene that just looks so beautiful like this compared to like, you know, where he came from, you know. My goodness, rest in peace, RWBY. I mean, I think it's like coming back eventually, right? But anyway, that was, you know what? I made some good videos this year. I think that was also I think like, honestly, I think like editing wise and everything, and the music and the actual script itself, I think is even better than the Powder one. And I think the idea is stronger. I think everything in this video is just far stronger. I think the only kind of drawback is that like, actually, is it? I don't know. I honestly, is it an S tier video? I guess I don't have the passion. Like, I don't feel like, oh, this is like one of the greatest videos I've ever made. I don't know. I leave it in A. You know, that's just the vibe I get. But I don't necessarily have anything wrong with this. Where I'm like, I could have improved this, or I wish this was better, or I don't know. Nice, short, sweet video. Again with a bacon comment. I don't remember this at all. Oh yeah, I do remember this. He commented about me having Alex, I like contrast the two sets of names, and I think that was like unintentional as well. I don't remember though, maybe it was intentional, but this.
He's failing to protect those close to him, having failed Pyrrha and Penny and Weiss and Alex. And RWBY, the girl whom the world expects to be strong and lead the heroic fight for the sake of everyone, despite having failed Pyrrha and Penny and the entirety of Atlas.
Yeah, so we have the two names here. So I was wondering what the analysis of the characters at the start would add to the overall point of your script, and your script brought it all together well. 30 seconds, the link here of ending on Alex and Atlas was cool, rhythm and alliteration, nice. So there we go, amazing. And of course, the greatest comment I've ever received on any of my channels. So glad I found this channel. More people could benefit from your art. Oh my goodness, so flattering. Anyway. Back to business here. Now we have my first more substantial video, I guess. You know, it's 5 minutes instead of the 2 minutes and 3 minutes, you know, these two. And it's a Mushoku Tensei video. So Mushoku Tensei spoilers, I suppose, guys. But only for the anime. So if you've seen the anime, you can watch this. But the single line that defines Paul Greyrat. So this I wanted to get out kind of before the episode came out, I think. So I don't use any of the footage of the episode where this stuff happens. And it's a pretty simple idea that I've just had for quite a while, but let's watch it.
In the blink of an eye, Paul Greyrat's life is turned upside down.
See, this audio sounds better to me, but also maybe just because I'm speaking a bit louder or something. I don't know.
Ordered to the middle of nowhere with his infant daughter in his
arms. But also it's still way too like bass, like heavy or whatever.
Paul dedicates the rest of his life to reuniting his family. He fights long and hard, systematically scouring a large portion of a continent, saving countless people along his multi-year journey until he finally manages to find them. Rudius, Lilia, and Aisha, 3 missing members of his family, finally safe and sound. and with the help of a blue-haired magician, he now has the location of the final person he is searching for, his wife Zenith. Reuniting with his old adventurer party, Paul heads to the Garret to dive into the labyrinth in which Zenith is trapped, and after many grueling months of failed rescue attempts have passed, Rudius stands amidst his father's old party, outside the room his mother is trapped in, as his father delivers one final speech. The years of searching, the years of fighting, the friendships formed, the people lost along the way, all of it culminates in a single line at the end of Paul's climactic speech, the line that defines Paul Greyrat, a father speaking to his son, saying something that a father never should. Save your mother, even if it kills you. These are the desperate words of a man who has failed and has no room left in his heart to fail again. As a child, Paul always hated his stubborn, controlling father, and after a huge fight he would later come to regret, he ran away from home and never saw him again. He was a failure of a son, but he wanted to prove that he was capable, which led him to
It's so one funny thing about making videos, especially with my Mushoku Tensei videos, because they're about the light novel, is how much I stress when I'm trying to actually edit the video, and I'm like, oh, there's like so much text and it takes so long, and what footage am I gonna find to like put to fill like this gap, and oh my god, like why, like what do I put when they're like, look at this,
son,
right?
But he wanted to prove that he was capable, which led him to a sword training hall run by Lilia's father.
Like that little piece of dialogue, I'm like agonized, like what do I put here? Like the training hall, like we don't see the dad, there's no training hall, like there's not enough footage of Paul, what do I put here? And then I like come to the conclusion after like 20 minutes of agonizing, I'm like, oh, let me just put like a Lilia clip here, you know, because it's like vaguely related to like Lilia. But the reason I bring this up is that like in retrospect, now that I'm watching it, it's like you don't even really pay attention that much to what the visuals are. So it really doesn't matter. Like I'm stressing for no reason when I make these videos. But...
He ran away from home and never saw him again. He was a failure of a son, but he wanted to prove that he was capable, which led him to a sword training hall run by Lilia's father. By his own description, his peers at this hall were pathetic, barely capable of surpassing beginner lessons, and once they learned Paul was chosen to marry Lilia, they would take their frustrations out on him during training. Paul vowed that he would one day show them just how good he was, but due to his very nature, he would never get the chance. Out of frustration at their unjustified egos and attempts to keep him in his proper place, Paul lashed out by raping Lilia, the person they all cherished, and then ran away from the training hall forever. It was a monstrous action he would later come to regret. In addition to being a failure of a son, he had failed to prove his worth, and he was forever a failure of a friend. After going on to become an adventurer,
man, season 1 looks so good. It's crazy. Like things like this.
he was forever a failure of a friend. After going on to become an adventurer, Paul ended up settling down with one of his party members, Zenith. The two of them wound up having a son, of which we all of course know. But the mismatch in his son's appearance and mental age, a quality that makes him so interesting to us as a protagonist, makes Paul constantly doubt his adequacy as a parent, rarely feeling as though he has anything of value to teach him. The first chance he thinks he has to finally step into his fatherly role blows up in his face, and he winds up hitting Rudius. And to make it worse, he ends up being a bad role model too, cheating on Zenith with his maid Lilia. A failure of a father and a failure of a husband. And then things get serious, the teleportation incident. After almost 2 years...
That's one of my favorite little editing things, you know, adding the sound effect, changing the music, I think it all comes together well.
A husband. And then things get serious, the teleportation incident. After almost 2 years of searching, Paul doesn't get any closer to finding a single member.
Also, I think this is like, I mean, I feel like maybe I actually did a behind the scenes video for this, but this is heavily edited here. I think it's like credits and stuff, and the whole thing is like, I had to like crop stuff out. It was like a whole thing.
Finding a single member of his family, and it drives him to alcoholism. By happenstance, he runs into Rudius, and it's Rudius who finds Lilia and Aisha. Without Rudius, he would have achieved nothing. But his brief interaction with his son in Millis reinvigorates.
Why did that sound weird? Wait.
He runs into Rudius, and it's Rudius who finds Lilia and Aisha. Without Rudius, he would have achieved nothing. But his brief...
Why did the word nothing is like, it's like reverb, like nothing. I don't know why.
Without Rudius, he would have achieved nothing. But his brief interaction with his son in Millis reinvigorates Paul with hope, and he continues his search with an optimistic step until being beat down by months of failure in the teleportation labyrinth. Then comes Volume 12. The toll of Paul's failures are made crystal clear throughout the volume. Paul is in a constant state of self-deprecation. Practically every word he utters is a self-disparagement of sorts, an apology to Alinalize for causing their long-lasting feud, a constant stream of apologies to Rudius for not being good enough of a father, and words of self-hatred for breaking the vow he made to remain celibate until Zenith's rescue. And all of this leads us to his aforementioned speech outside the Hydra's room. Given this extensive context of Paul's life story, it's clear that in this moment, Paul is a man haunted by his perceived failures, and behind the door in front of which he stands is his final chance for redemption. He must succeed here. He has spent far too much of his life failing. He must succeed, even at the cost of the life of his son. Save your mother, even if it kills you. Now these are desperate, selfish words of a man who must not fail, but there is of course another side to what he is saying in this moment, an implicit message. It's clear in Paul's words that he sees Rudius not as a son to be looked after or a subordinate to be directed, but as an equal, someone to share the burden of saving Zenith, share in his conviction, an equal in the most important mission in Paul's entire life. These words, which reflect Paul's selfish desperation to...
The music is taking me out of it still. So for reference, the music, I used AI to get rid of the not the vocals, I guess, but the dialogue that was being spoken when the music was playing, because at this point when I made the video, the music for this section hadn't been released yet, like officially. So it's a bit, and you can hear the AI kind of like struggling for a bit here, but anyway.
In Paul's entire life. These words, which reflect Paul's selfish desperation to prove he isn't a failure, are also words of pride and respect for his son, stated crudely and with extreme conviction in a quintessentially Paul Greyrat manner. Save your mother, even if it kills you.
I think that was okay. I would say that was good. But generally it is very much a recap video. Like, I'm giving you context that you might have missed or might not have actually all put together for some reason. For why the scene is so, why the line, I guess the final line is so impactful. I think visually the video is okay. I think, like, for instance, I remember when I was making the Norn video, I wasn't very proud of how that looked. I thought it was a big step back actually from the other stuff, but looking back now, I guess I really like the way the Norn video is like kind of visually done. And this kind of feels a little bit of a step back, especially things like this where you've got the dialogue and it's just like a black screen. I know the Norn one did that a little bit, but I tried to put images and stuff. I don't know. I think it's like mediocre production wise. I would give this a B, I think. Like, it's good. I think I still stand by the ideas and stuff, but I'm sure there's some ways to improve this. But obviously it's a Mushoku Tensei video. You know, I got a bunch of comments and stuff. We love it. Almost 25,000 views. I wonder if this will ever... This probably won't get a bump like in future seasons because, you know, obviously, you know, Paul is no longer that relevant of a character. But who knows? I guess we'll see. All right. Why do I have so many tabs of my own channel open? Next up, we have... I guess we've only got 2 videos left. We have my like digest style, which I have 3, but I'm only going to watch 1 of them. And then I have the reaction rewatch problem. So I guess let's start with we don't necessarily have to watch a long one. Let's watch the shortest, which is the most recent, reviewing everything I finished in September 2024. So, oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh my goodness. Okay, speed this up.
Another month, another digest, where I rank all the movies, TV shows, games, and any other type of media that I finished last month, as well as announcing the randomly selected things I'll be watching next month, as suggested by you guys at EliteAri.com.
You know, my editing, good in this. At least the beginning here is good, and I think the end is good because I just like made a nice intro that I can like copy and paste every time, and yep.
September was incredibly busy, so I only got to watch a handful of things. The first of those was Polite Society, a movie about 2 sisters, an art school dropout, and
You know what I also don't remember, but it is entirely possible. I think the background music is AI music, I think.
Inspiring stunt,
and I think it comes together well. Like, it matches the vibe of this like review kind of style. But
we're each trying to find their path forward in life. Shenanigans ensue, and the result is essentially a quirky satirical action comedy that completely fails at being remotely funny. The themes are serviceable, the plot is okay, and the over-exaggerated action was fun at a few points. Though on that point, it really did feel like they didn't quite have enough skill or maybe budget to produce the level of over-exaggerated action that it seemed that they were going for. It kind of felt like they were shooting for everything everywhere all at once and landed around 20% of the way there. But who cares about all that? It's all pointless anyway, because this was a terrible experience of a movie. Pretty much every single joke and funny scene just fell completely flat for me. I don't quite know how to describe this, but you can tell every single time a joke is about to be delivered.
You know what it feels like? Firstly, just generally, I think we can spoil what I'm going to give this. I don't think this is good. I don't like this kind of... I probably never should have made these videos, but it was worth trying, so I'm kind of glad that I did. Firstly, it's boring, firstly. Like, I'm not saying anything too interesting. Secondly, when I'm listening here, I feel like I'm getting close to giving, like, an engaging kind of narrative voice, but it's, like, not engaging at all. And I wasn't trying to be engaging at all. Like, I was just doing my typical, like, my typical monotone, like, well, hello everyone, and well, no, it's not even that. It's like the, I have like a certain way of narrating my videos that is very, like, I don't try and do any humor. I don't try and give any expressive, like, voice or anything. I just try and do it very flat. But it feels like I'm slightly trying to do it here a little bit, even though I'm not. Basically, what I'm saying is that if I tried to do a little bit more, like, of an emotive delivery here, which I think is possible, I could probably pull it off, it probably would make the video a lot better, and it would feel a lot more in line with other kind of review videos that I've seen online. Like, I feel like I'm like maybe like 60% of the way there, and if I pushed it further, or pushed it at all, I guess, because I've never really tried to do this, it could probably be a lot better or more engaging as of a video.
It just fell completely flat for me. I don't quite know how to describe this, but you can tell every
and
single...
also my like dialogue is a bit like stiff, or the script, I guess, like it doesn't sound natural or anything like that, but I wasn't trying to be natural, so...
time a joke is about to be delivered, and you can almost always tell exactly what the joke is going to be before they actually deliver it. I often say I don't like comedy movies, but perhaps I was wrong. I really don't like comedy movies, at least when the comedy is so predictable. So yes, I hated this movie. It's obviously a 1 out of 5. But there's something else this movie made me think about. Polite Society feels like it would have been a fantastic...
I feel like I need to do like I need to practice like a voice. I need to go find someone who I like the way they deliver lines. I need to mock it. Oh, not mock it, sorry, copy it.
Hey, I don't
know why I said mock it. Wait.
Like comedy movies, but perhaps I was wrong. I really don't like comedy movies, at least when the comedy is so predictable. So yes.
Like, how would I say that? Like, at least when the comedy is so predictable. Like, how else could I even say that to make it sound good? I don't know.
I hated this movie. It's obviously a 1 out of 5. But there's something else this movie made me think about. Polite Society feels like it would have been a fantastic movie if it was made by one of my friends. And no, I don't mean a friend of mine could have made a better movie or anything like that. I mean that if the movie was exactly the same, but the context was that it was a really high budget school project that a friend of mine made, perhaps where I was friends with the actors or something, I could certainly imagine.
You know what I do wonder? If I made this video, but I delivered it in an unscripted format, like this, like what I'm doing now, I could definitely pull it off. It would basically be me just reading verbatim, but with a different narrative voice, but I don't know, maybe that would be more engaging in a style of video like this.
Myself finding this type of comedy funny, because the creative vision behind it would be more personal to me. But alas, this isn't the case. Polite Society, in its actual context, is a 1 out of 5. Next we have This Is England, a movie that follows a young British boy who's groomed by a group of skinheads. I had very little expectations going into this movie, and it ended up blowing me away. It was a really great movie. Generally speaking, it starts off...
I think we get the point. We don't have to watch this whole thing. Like, we'll skip to the end, I guess, but...
And that's this month's digest. If you're interested in more in-depth discussions for these pieces of media, check the links in the description for their individual videos. As for next month, I spun the selection wheel last stream to choose from some of your suggestions made at EliteAri.com. So make sure you subscribe to EliteAri and check out the website. The winner for this month was Yuri Happy Go Lily.
Oh, what a tragic choice that was. Anyway, so I mean that's like, it's a bad video. Like, it's not bad. Like it's perfectly serviceable. I wouldn't be proud to show this to anyone. And I am kind of embarrassed when I tell people my YouTube channel and they find this and they're like, oh, so you make like review videos? And I'm like, not really. But it's fine. Perfectly serviceable. I'd give it like it's the worst of the stuff I've made this year for sure. But I'll put it in C. It's not terrible. It's not a D video. Now we have the reaction rewatch problem. So this is my final video, I guess, for the year, but this was one I put a lot of effort into for sure. Not necessarily scripting wise, it was pretty easy to script, I think, from memory. But like visually, it took a while to like collect all the footage. I tried to do some fancy stuff at the beginning to make it engaging. Yeah, it's a pretty long video by my standards, 10 minutes. But yeah, and this is basically my biggest failure. I wish that this sort of gotten at least 1,000 views. It didn't. I guess the normies did see it, which is like the coolest thing that ever happened in regard to this video. I feel like a lot of people probably missed the point of the video, mainly because of the title, which I did change. It wasn't always called the reaction rewatch problem. It was called like, I don't even remember. It was like the problem with reaction videos or something like that initially. But yeah, or reaction videos are market substitute. I think that's what it was called, which is a more accurate title, I guess. But I figured this one's probably better. Basically, complete failure. I wish it's got more views. I guess we'll watch now and see if I still think it's a good video and it probably should have got more, or I guess we'll see.
I love reaction videos. And no, I don't mean these reaction videos, or these, or even these. I'm talking about Blindwave, The Normies, Film Buff, Autosave, channels that watch entire TV shows for the first time, trying to evoke that first-time feeling in a jaded viewer who's watched their favorite TV show too many times to count. The best feeling in the world is opening my YouTube homepage to see one of the reaction channels.
So far, to me, this feels like a... Maybe I just like... Either I don't know what a good introductory... Not hook, but like an introduction to a video is. Or I do, and... Because personally, I think this is great. Like, this does feel like... As a person who is a fan of reaction videos, if I were to watch a video like this, someone is like echoing the sentiments or like echoing how I feel about a niche that isn't often meta or talked about in a meta way like this, I think it would be kind of cool and like you'd kind of want to be sucked in. So either like there's a few possibilities. One, I'm just like completely biased and like this is actually a bad intro and it's not hooking people. Two, there's actually a very limited audience for this, and like there's actually not that many fans out there who watch reaction videos and actually care about like reaction videos as like a form of content. Or three, there is like a big market for a video like this, but for some reason people don't see it because maybe the thumbnail is bad, the title, maybe it's just like the video wasn't engaging enough as a whole, so it doesn't get sent out to as many people. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, there's a few possibilities here.
I watch just started one of my favorite series. It's a similar feeling to finally convincing one of your friends to watch your favorite TV show with you, where you're excited to see their reaction to your favorite moments, laugh at the parts where you laughed, cry at the parts that made you cry. Now, not all reaction channels are created equal. Some are funnier, some cry harder, some are extremely analytical, while others barely say a word. But one thing these channels all have in common is the format. A small box usually at the bottom of the screen, playing the episode that the reactor is reacting to, which has been cut up to include only a portion of the entire thing. In other words, a reaction highlight. Now, there's two clear reasons for taking a highlight approach. Firstly, it's more engaging than showing the entire episode. You skip over all the boring bits where the reactor isn't reacting, and are left with just the good, entertaining bits. But more importantly, these reaction channels believe that it makes the content more transformative in an effort to avoid copyright strikes.
There is also a possibility that people get to this point and they're like, oh, it's a copy copyright strike video. I know about copyright strikes and they don't bother because obviously copyright strike stuff has been covered to death. So I think this is also possible.
They're not just showing the entire episode, but are only including the bits that are important for the reaction. Hence, they would claim that the reaction is a substantial transformation of the original episode and is now a separate derivative work. This is important because of the two famous words, fair use. In almost all circumstances, you can only create a derivative work if you receive permission from the copyright owner, and almost certainly these reaction channels don't ask for that. So then comes fair use, a flexible US legal doctrine that allows for the use of a copyrighted work without permission in certain circumstances. The Fair Use section of the US Copyright Act provides some examples of fair use, such as criticism, commentary, and research.
I guess I didn't comment on this, but the audio in this sounds great. Like I like the way this sounds for sure. Of all the videos, this is the best one.
And provides 4 factors to
Now is this, maybe this is the first one I actually recorded in my apartment so I could like talk as loud as I wanted, I guess, maybe? I don't know.
Consider when defending the use of a copyrighted work. In simple terms, these factors are why and how the work is being used, what the nature of the original work is, how much of the original work is being used, and what impact the work's use will have on the...
Wait, did I record this in my apartment? No, there's no way. No, I didn't. I don't know why I thought that. Okay, I don't know why this video sounds so good.
Work's potential market or value. What this basically means is that if someone accuses you of using their copyrighted material without permission, then you could defend yourself in court by saying that your use of the material falls under fair use, and how your use relates to these 4 factors would be a key part of your defense. When it comes to reaction highlight videos, I take issue with the 4th factor, the effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work, a factor that some channels are quite mindful of.
This is not a market substitute.
This isn't a market sub.
Not a market substitute, support the official release.
Reaction videos are edited in a way so that they provide enough context for the story of an episode so that people can understand the reactions without having a good memory of the actual episode. This often involves including bits where the reactor isn't saying anything at all, purely because the scene is important for a reaction to a later part of the episode. A compilation of out-of-context moments where a reactor is just reacting to a specific moment of an episode is not as engaging, as it's difficult to follow due to lacking the context that makes the emotions of the reaction feel earned. In other words, the appeal of a reaction involves seeing the build-up so that you have enough context to feel the emotions of the payoff. And here lies the issue at hand. Enjoying a reaction to an episode depends on understanding the context of the moments being reacted to. You must include enough of the original episode, such that the viewer would understand why the moment being reacted to is being reacted to in the manner that it is. In other words, a successful reaction must capture the heart of an episode. And from this stems my argument. Reaction videos are market substitutes, but the market in this case isn't the market for watching TV shows, but rather rewatching them. Let's begin.
I think this is good. That was engaging to listen to. The music's good, and the ending with like, this is the thesis of the video here. Like, I think this is good.
With the active argument. Why would I pay for a subscription to Disney Plus?
The music, I think, is carrying this, where it's like, it fits the type of argument I'm trying to make. I don't know. I like the music basically.
To rewatch the first season of The Mandalorian when I can just watch Blind Wave reacting to it for the first time, or even seek out a new reaction channel for an even fresher reaction. You get all the worthwhile moments you're looking forward to in your rewatch and the reaction highlight, alongside the reactions of people watching for the first time. It's the best of both worlds. Sure, you might be missing out on a few minor moments that maybe some people care about, but a good, successful reaction video will make sure you get the gist of all the important moments, while being easier to access, taking less time to consume, and of course, being entirely free. People will actively seek out...
I'll be honest. Watching this, I think this is a good video. Okay, someone has to like, if you're listening right now and you're like, you know why this video is like failed or whatever, please let me know, because I think it's a good video. You know, I think my arguments, at least so far, we'll see, maybe it falls off and I'm like, oh, that was actually a bad ending or something, but I think the argument is strong. I think the idea is like appealing. I don't know, it's a shame. It's my biggest flop, biggest failure. I don't know. But usually I feel like I can understand why like something like this would be not perceived well. I don't know.
Reaction videos to series as a substitute for rewatching the series itself. Hence, the active choice to seek reaction content instead of a rewatch harms the market for the original content. On the other hand, we have the passive argument. Let's say you just finished binging all 62 episodes of Breaking Bad. Are you more likely to immediately start watching it again a few days later, or a few years later? I'm sure that we can all agree that the more time that passes after you've finished a series that you liked watching, the more you feel the pull to rewatch it. Distance makes the heart grow fonder as we slowly forget the details, giving us a more fresh rewatch experience. If we can agree that reactions are edited to convey the core moments of each episode of a series, then we must concede that watching a reaction series will delay our next rewatch of the series itself. Put simply, you watch Breaking Bad and you like it a lot. Almost a year goes by and your favorite reaction channel starts reacting to it. So you slowly watch their reactions week by week, and your need to rewatch the series plummets right back to the initial lowest point after finishing the series yourself for the first time. You were never actively trying to replace your rewatch with a reaction series watch through, but it just passively happened. Hence, the passive action of watching reactions to TV series cannibalized.
God, I was collecting so many episodes of Breaking Bad footage here from the normies that it started rate limiting me on YouTube, and I could only watch stuff at 480p. It was crazy.
is the rewatch market. Now, I don't run a reaction channel and I don't make TV shows, so my only evidence I have to back up these hypothetical scenarios is my own experience, which is that I've fallen into both of these camps many times in the past. For one of many examples of the active case, I watched Hunter x Hunter in 2018 and have since watched 3 reaction series week to week from beginning to end, and I'm currently watching another one. I couldn't possibly imagine going back to rewatch the whole series again when there's so many reaction channels out there that I could experience the series through with a new, fresh perspective. As for the passive case, there's Mr. Robot. I watched season 1 when it was airing and dropped season 2 a few episodes in, and for quite a while now I've been meaning to rewatch it, but haven't quite had the time. But a few months ago, Blind Wave started reacting to it, and I've been watching their reactions week to week, and now I have no real motivation to go out and rewatch season 1 on its own. The reaction cannibalized my rewatch. Now, with all that out of the way, let me defend reaction videos, because after all, they are my favorite content on YouTube, and they offer significant benefits that, in my opinion, outweigh their costs. Firstly, reaction videos are free promotion for the shows being reacted to, introducing audiences to new series that they might have never considered. I have an irrational dislike of pirate-themed media. It just isn't for me. It's set in the boring olden days, the way pirates speak is all weird, and it's always the same tropes: searching for treasure, fighting with swords, and living a free life on the open seas. That was until Blind Wave announced that they were going to react to Black Sails, so I decided to give it a watch. Turns out, Black Sails is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my entire life, and there was a 0% chance that I ever would have watched it if Blind Wave didn't react to it. And this is just one of many shows that I watched because of Blind Wave's reactions. Gurren Lagann, Code Geass, Umbrella Academy, RWBY, and many more of my favorite shows have come from Blind Wave's reactions. Additionally, reaction videos can act as a retention tool for a long-running series. This means that if a viewer drops the show but continues to watch reaction videos as the show continues on, they can stay engaged with the storyline even after they decided to drop the show, hence increasing the likelihood that they might return to the show at a later point in time, perhaps when the show gets good again from their perspective. This is exactly what happened to me with The Walking Dead. After 7 seasons, I was no longer enjoying the show, so I stopped watching. However, I kept watching reaction videos because I still enjoyed seeing the reactions. So flash forward a few years, and the final season was airing, and I'd actually started somewhat enjoying the show through the reactions, so I ended up subscribing for 2 months to a streaming service to watch the mid-season finale, as well as the final episode of the season. If it weren't for the reaction videos, I never would have watched another episode again. It's not much, but it's a net positive for sure. Again, I love reaction videos, and I don't want them to be changed at all. I just get a little frustrated.
Is this actually the conclusion? I guess it is. This was like a week, like, oh, I should have made it a bit of a stronger transition here. Like, we're ending. This is the conclusion. Maybe like a sound effect or something, you know?
Whenever I hear the normies say, this is not a market substitute, when in my mind, it so very clearly can be. Viewers can actively replace rewatches with reaction videos, and reaction videos can passively delay or even prevent rewatches altogether, effectively cannibalizing the rewatch market. In today's world, where streaming services rely on recurring revenue rather than one-time sales of DVDs or digital downloads, the rewatch market is an essential part of their entire business model. And just these 5 reaction channels alone received 45 million long-form video views in the past 28 days, which undeniably has some level of impact on this rewatch market. Determining whether this is a net positive or net negative and the extent of this impact would need some actual data, which I absolutely do not have. But as a huge fan of React content, I can say unequivocally that although they may have stopped me from rewatching a bunch of TV shows, reaction channels like Blind Wave and the Normies have led me to discovering shows that have gone on to become my absolute favorites. In my mind, they may be substitutes for the rewatch market, but at the same time, they're an interesting evolution in how we engage with media, striking an interesting balance between creative expression and market impact.
Okay, I think the video is fantastic, except for that final line, which I think I even talked about when I released this video, that it's like, it was like a struggle to wrap this up in like a single line or whatever, but that final line is not good. Basically, besides that, firstly, I think this is visually the best video I've ever made. I love the aesthetic. I guess this is more like inspired by some of Bacon's videos where he has like stuff like this and blurred visuals and stuff, and it adds more depth to the visuals. Usually what I have in my edited videos is like either a black background with something floating, and I changed it up a bit for this, and I think it looks really good. And idea-wise, I think this is one of my strongest ideas. I believe this argument wholeheartedly, and I think I conveyed it very clearly and precisely, and I think I did a good job. This is, I think on my channel, I guess I have 3 videos that I wish would get more views. One of them has actually started getting more views, and that's the explaining Mika's headaches video, basically. This is like one of the ones where I felt like I had a very clear explanation for where her headaches come from, and people were misunderstanding, and it wasn't getting many views, this video, but then suddenly when Attack on Titan ended, now it has like a steady curve, and it's actually getting views now. The second one is my speculative black holes video. Now, I wish this would get more views because I think it's like a very kind of well-made video, I think, like production-wise and everything. And I think the idea is like kind of fun, but the issue is that it's not going to be appealing to many people because it's got like 2 examples and they're both spoilers. One is Dragon Ball Z and one is Chainsaw Man. So I don't think it's going to ever be popular, but that's something I wish could get more views. And then I have the this video, the reaction rewatch problem, which I wish like this would get a lot of views. If there was one video, I guess right now that I'd be like, algorithm, take this, show it to people, it'd be this one for sure. But yeah, so in the tier list, undeniably S. I think one of the best videos I've made. So yeah, but I guess that's that. 1 S tier video this year, 2 A tiers, 3 C tiers, and 1 B tier. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming to this long yearly review, and I guess see you next year.